All right. It is the weekend, and a lot of us are looking forward to going out. But can you continue the plan and the program that you've built for yourself even while you're dining out or ordering in? A lot of us are really busy, and so even during the week, ordering in or ordering takeout is something that we need to do because we just don't have time to prepare meals for the whole week. We also might have client dinners, girls' nights out, guys' nights out. There's a lot of different reasons for hitting the town and hitting your local restaurants. So I've compiled a list for you, which I'll give you after this video. And I'm going to talk you through some of my favorite types of food to order in and order out, and how you can take something that's seemingly not healthy, not great for you, and kind of jam it into our plan. Not necessarily jam it in, but I just want to tell you what your options are. So the first and probably one of the most difficult is Chinese. And I'm sure you have a menu like this. You know, this is the local Chinese takeout here in my town in Westchester. And, there's a lot of fried stuff. There's also a lot of sodium. And so if you are getting any sort of Asian food and you like soy sauce on it, try to order low sodium soy sauce, right? But they have everything on this menu. They even have fried chicken, which is so funny. But most of the Chinese restaurants in New York City and the vicinity have fried chicken on the menu, which is interesting. So obviously avoid anything fried. And if you're not sure if it's fried, you can always ask them. A lot of times, if I'm trying to eat something healthy, I'll get steamed vegetables and steamed chicken, or a sauteed shrimp or some sort of fish that's light. And what I'll do is I'll get a side of sauce, because usually if you're ordering Chinese food, in the wok, they will saute the items in a ton of sauce. And usually that sauce has sugar, it has salt, it has other additives that you really don't want to put into your body. So you can either put like some low sodium soy sauce on it, if you're trying to avoid soy, if you're a female over the age of 35 and you are trying to balance your hormones, you want to avoid soy. So you might want to put some duck sauce or something on it, but just a little tiny bit. I would even recommend putting some sriracha or any type of hot sauce if you like that type of spice, and just using that as sort of the flavor for the items that you're getting. So there's also, you can get like sauteed broccoli and rice. Try to always get brown rice. I know that it might sound silly, but if you are going to have a carb, rice is definitely something that's easier to digest. You can also get their soups. So a lot of their soups actually have noodles in it, but there might be like egg drop soup. Actually has egg in it, and bits of egg whites. So you can work with that type of soup. There's also chicken and rice soup, hot and sour soup. Just make sure that there's no fried items, or heavy fatty items like processed pork or the dumpling wrapper that they use. So that's Chinese food. I'd get steamed chicken with brown rice and steamed vegetables with a little sauce on the side and drizzle that on. Or you could go with one of the soups. Sometimes, I don't think they have it on this menu, but every once in a while you'll come across a Chinese restaurant that actually has a salad on their menu. I don't see anything, but just avoid lo mein, avoid like General Tso's chicken, sesame chicken, all of that stuff that's deep fried. Okay, moving on. So in the same area of the world, in Asian culture, we also have sushi. And sushi is a little bit easier to justify when you're on a meal plan because usually it's a lot of raw fish. But there's a lot of stuff to avoid too, on a sushi menu, like spring rolls. Spring rolls are fried. You also want to avoid white rice again, and they have what is it? It's like the sweet and spicy shrimp what's it called? Like tempura. Tempura, any sort of tempura, stay away from tempura. That is dough, it's battered, it's fried. So even though it's vegetables, try to stay away from that. I really like seaweed salads. I recommend this to a lot of people. There's a lot of phytonutrients and enzymes that are in seaweed that have been proven to be amazing for your health and easing digestion. I think that, if you stay away from like the spicy mayos on rolls and you stick to brown rice, which you can ask for if you're getting a tuna roll or a mackerel roll, you can ask for brown rice to roll it in. You can also ask for it to be inside out, which adds more rice. So if you're looking for less rice, you want to keep it right side in when you're talking about the rolls. Edamame there's a lot of conflict around edamame. I know that Sarah Davis mentioned that she has a great recipe. There's a lot of fiber and there's protein in edamame, but from a legume standpoint, peanuts and edamame and other beans are kind of in the same area, and there's a lot of fats in those particular items. So, I'll leave it up to you if it's something, if you want to take on those extra calories, have an edamame. Otherwise, have a seaweed salad, have a green salad. They usually put that ginger sauce on the side. Ginger is fine. It helps you ease digestion, but just don't go too far because there's other added, sodium and stuff in that ginger dressing that is not so great for you. So I would get sashimi if you can, so that you don't have any access to rice at all. Sashimi, a nice salad, and maybe some edamame, but stay away from like the gyoza, the shumai, all of the dumplings. You can also find at a lot of different sushi restaurants, you can get a lettuce wrap, which is fun. I think that a lot of people avoid lettuce wraps just because it sounds weird, but if you get a chicken or a shrimp or beef lettuce wrap, usually the meat is sauteed in some sort of sauce, but you can ask them for the sauce on the side. And then there's pea shoots and chestnuts and other interesting vegetables that are usually in the mix that you're wrapping up into like a Boston or Bibb lettuce wrap. And then if you're going to get a roll, try to avoid all of the spicy mayos, the heavy eel sauce, anything that might have extra sodium or fats added to it. All right, so that's sushi. And again, I'm going to give you a list of stuff to order from Chinese, from sushi. And now, obviously, it's the weekend, and I don't know if you have kids or if you're going out. I love a late night pizza just as much as everybody else does, or even in the afternoon. But as you know, pizza is a combination of the two things that we're supposed to be trying to avoid. So, and then if you add a bunch of stuff on top of it, like pepperoni and sausage and other crap that tastes really good, then you're really putting yourself back. So it's interesting to me because I never really thought you'd be able to eat healthy at a pizzeria, but listen to what they have. So they actually have a lot of different types of pasta. And most pizzerias, at least in the New York metropolitan area, have a gluten-free pasta option. So you can always get a gluten-free pasta. You could get broccoli rabe and sausage with a garlic sauce. Try to avoid butter. So if they have an option, you can do olive oil and garlic on a pasta with broccoli rabe and spinach. You could do it with roasted vegetables. So do a pasta primavera with a gluten-free pasta. Usually the gluten-free pasta they have is made out of cornstarch, which is not necessarily the healthiest. They don't have brown rice pasta or quinoa pasta hanging out at a pizzeria. But you know what? If you're out and you have to eat something, you can go that route. The other route is at a pizzeria, they always have salads. At this particular pizzeria, and I have about 15 pizzerias in my town, they have an arugula salad. And that has tomatoes, onions, olives, and roasted peppers. That's fine. Yes, there's some salt. There's a lot of salt in the olives and the roasted peppers. But, the tomatoes and the arugula have a lot of phytonutrients and antioxidant power. So that's good. And then you also have stuff like Caesar salads. you could always put like a piece of salmon or grilled chicken on a Caesar salad. I love to have my salads chopped up really fine. Not only does this help with my problem, which is I talk too much while I'm eating, and so I'm the slowest eater on the planet, which is probably a good thing for digestion, but it also will ease digestion. It makes it taste better. I don't know why. But then there's some salads that may not be the healthiest that you can get at a pizzeria. So the caprese salad, which are just slices of mozzarella with tomato, usually with balsamic and basil. It's not terrible to have something like that, but I would rather replace the mozzarella with something like a portobello mushroom. And vinegar can either cause, if you eat a lot of it, drink or eat a lot of vinegar, it can cause yeast to build up in your system, which hold on to those fat modules in your body, or it can, there are some benefits to some different types of vinegar, but I've never really seen apple cider vinegar on a pizzeria menu before. So that's what I would say. I would stay away from the chicken parm sandwiches. I'd stay away from the meatball parms. I'd stay away from the antipasto, from pizza. But you can go with a gluten-free pasta with veggies or salad with some sort of lean protein on top, and that would be fantastico. All right, so that is our Italian pizzeria. Now, this is probably the most interesting to me because I'm not really quite sure if all of you guys have this, but this is a barbecue restaurant. There's a few of them in my town, and as you know, barbecue is not necessarily the healthiest food, and it is actually something that I make at home quite often, and you can get a barbecue chicken without being slathered with all of the sauce. Usually it's just smoked chicken. Any sort of pulled pork or pulled chicken or brisket has been heavily marinated, heavily seasoned, tons of salt. So you want to kind of try to stay away from that, any sort of cured meats. But they do have a lot of different side dishes that you could participate in. Like they have corn on the cob. So it is a starch. It's not necessarily the healthiest thing for you to eat, but they also, and this one, they have green beans, they have Brussels sprouts, any sort of potato salad or coleslaw usually has a heavy mayo in it. So you want to try to avoid that because those are usually pretty fattening. And then they have, fried pickles and cornbread and that kind of stuff you want to stay away from too. It's unfortunate because I love baked beans, but usually baked beans that you get from a barbecue restaurant have bacon or bacon fat in it. So there's a lot of extra fat there. So usually with barbecue, if you are going to eat it on the weekend or order out, try to eat it earlier in the day. Try to have it for lunch. Try to keep it to, a grilled piece of chicken, maybe put a little bit of barbecue sauce on it, but there is so much sugar in barbecue sauce. It's basically you take ketchup and you add a bunch of other things to flavor it, like liquid smoke, and then you add a ton of extra sugar. So there's already a ton of sugar in ketchup, and then, which is the main ingredient in barbecue sauce, and then you're adding extra brown sugar and other refined sugar to barbecue sauce. So barbecue sauce is really not the healthiest thing. They also have a bunch of burgers. So you could do a bunless burger over some sort of greens if they have that. And that's always a nice way to go. Obviously, don't make it a cheeseburger. Don't add fried onions and bacon and all that kind of stuff to the burger, because then you're just putting yourself back into the position of, well, you may as well just had some brisket or pulled pork. They also have grilled salmon on here, but it's a grilled salmon BLT. So they take grilled salmon and then they slap it on a brioche roll with bacon, lettuce, tomato, and mayo. So if you take everything else away except for the salmon, the lettuce, and the tomato, and maybe the bacon. I mean, listen, you know what, I love bacon and you can have a little bit of it here and there, but it is really fatty and there's carcinogens in bacon, and you know, you got to figure out where your balance is for that particular order, that particular weekend. Everything else I would pretty much avoid. I mean, they have fried Oreos and fried Twinkies on this, and as good as that sounds, and it's making my mouth water, I love fried Oreos. I would literally be vomiting all night if I had barbecue and then had fried Oreos afterwards. It would send my system into toxic shock. So that's about it. From the ordering standpoint, if you have any questions or if you have any ideas of different types of restaurants that I can help you with, you know, a lot of Americanized restaurants, you can use some of the same tips that I've given you today: ordering salads, gluten-free pasta, steamed vegetables, burgers without the bun with a side salad, a salad with protein on top, any sort of grilled fish or fish with brown rice with any sort of vegetable on the side. And, you know, that's healthy. You just want to ask a lot of questions. You want to ask them, is this fish poached in butter, or do you use olive oil? Can you avoid butter and the fat that's in butter, and replace it with oil, which, you know, depending on what type of oil they use, you may be in the same place. But there's a lot of different things and questions that you can ask when you're out to eat, and just avoid white flour, avoid white rice, avoid processed sugar, avoid all of the foods with lots of salt, avoid fried foods, and try to avoid eating a huge portion, especially if you're out for dinner, because if you want to have a couple glasses of wine or a cocktail or two, which we'll get into later, you're basically like, you're just crapping out the whole day if you're eating, not crapping out the whole day. You're basically just ruining the whole day where you've tried really hard to order the right things, and then, you know, you're tacking on alcohol, which is sugar, on top of what you're already eating. So try to keep the meal size smaller. Go for a walk around the neighborhood after you eat a big dinner. Walk up and down your stairs before you go to bed. Just get your metabolism going before, and try to wait at least 4 hours before you go to sleep after eating. It'll help with your sleep pattern, but it'll also help with aiding digestion. Gives your body time to rest before you go to rest. Anyway, that is it. Have fun. Party on, party people, and I will talk to you soon.